Hello Facebook people, I'm Konstantinos, and today we're going to criticize all the different ways that advertisers or individuals or business owners or freelancers are using in order to scale their ad accounts, which ones I like and which ones I prefer. Obviously guys, I'm going to finish with the way that I like the most, and most of you, if you are part of this channel for a long period and you're watching the videos, you know which one it is, but it's going to be the way that I prefer. It's going to be at the end of the video. So the first way is the old traditional way, which is coming from 2015. Basically the way that I see people doing it is that they do an ABO campaign, then they take something that is working on the ABO and they move it into a CBO campaign. Back in the days, we didn't have the CBO, so some of them, they were increasing by the 20% rule, but this is the case that we will cover second. So the first one is having an ABO for testing and scaling with a CBO campaign. By the way, I need to clarify that all of these ways can actually work, because if you have a product which is working, it doesn't matter, it's going to scale anyway, okay? The thing is to find the most cost-efficient way, and in my opinion, the way that I prefer, and I have also case studies about it, it's actually doing that, but we will cover that later. Hi guys, I would like to interrupt this video in order to talk to you about my new mentorship programs, and I would love if you go to the website. You're going to find the link in the description, or you can find it in the menu of my website, and over there you're going to be able to see the different mentorship programs that I have. You can find the one that is going to fit better your needs, and I will hope to see you there. First of all, ABO. When you have an ABO campaign, first of all, you have a campaign which is going to spend a lot of money on testing, because you're going to just put small budgets like 10 or 20. Some people test with 50 per ABO ad set, and over there you're just putting your different ideas, targetings, creatives and all of that. You're testing. For me, it's a money pit, because you're losing a lot of money in these ABO campaigns, and then when you take something, maybe it's not going to scale. Let me tell you why. When you're having an ABO which is spending, let's say 20, it doesn't mean that if you take this ad set which is spending 20 profitably, that if you put it in a CBO which is going to force it to spend 100, it's going to do it and it's going to be profitable. So some times, I'm not going to say 50 or 40 because I'm not using this strategy at all, so I don't know the numbers, but I know for sure by watching other accounts using it. Most of the times you're going to have several fails over there. And while you're thinking that you're testing something and you're finding something which is ready to scale, when you try to scale it, basically it's not scaling and it's actually failing. In this channel, we have explained a lot of times the ad curve, as we call it, which is like a bell. Basically, in this bell, we have a soft spot, which is the spot up to which you can scale an ad or ad set. And basically, what's going to happen if you scale above that is that it's going to start collapsing and you're going to start having less ROAS. When you're testing stuff with 20 and you don't test them immediately on a CBO campaign, which is the point that I disagree with, you are actually testing something that you don't know if it's going to work in a CBO. Instead of that, I do always prefer to just do my test in a CBO immediately. So if I have a structure which is working really well, what I'm doing is that, let's say for example, we have a structure of 4 ad sets with 100, and over there, this structure is working really well. What do I want to test? New creatives, for example. I do another campaign with the same structure, and this time I'm changing only my creatives. So I know if it's going to fail, it's the creatives. But I do have a structure which I know that I have used and I have optimized properly several times, so it's a proven thing. So instead of me just doing an ABO and then moving it to a CBO, what I'm doing is I'm testing immediately my creatives or my ideas or my targeting, whatever that may be, immediately on a CBO campaign, so that I know that if it's going to work, it's a campaign that's going to stay on my ad account. The good news is that not even Meta is proposing anymore this outdated strategy. The only place that I have seen it is from outdated courses, or I have seen it from agencies that they just want to have a structure that they use everywhere like a factory. For example, they have an ABO, a CBO for scaling, and one retargeting. And they just hire people, which are freelancers that are doing the job. They have a pipeline full of clients, and they just do the same thing again and again and again as a structure, because it's easier to operate like this when they have so many clients. So it's not working at all. It's a money pit, because you are spending money on something that you don't know if it's going to work and scale on a CBO campaign. And the other thing is that all of this testing on ABO, it's going to cost your ad account to have bad average results. Another thing that I'm seeing now people doing, and this is something that I have done also and we do also with the crazy method, is that you have one campaign which is working. Let's say, for example, you have one campaign which is spending 200, it's a CBO with 4 assets again, and then you say, okay, this is working really well. Let me duplicate it and this time run it with 800. Now, I do prefer more this as an option. Why? Because at the end of the day, even if your second campaign is going to fail, or if the second campaign is going to succeed and it's going to cannibalize the first one, if you don't know what I mean about cannibalizing, watch my videos about the daily loop theory and you will understand it more. Over there, what you are going to have is again one campaign. On the other hand, what you have with the other case is that you lose the whole campaign, so we don't like that. So this is one acceptable way that I have used in several ad accounts, but to be honest with you, I'm not doing it that aggressively. For example, there are other people that they say if it's working in one CBO, just duplicate it 3 times with the same budget so that it can work and all that. I think it's too aggressive and I haven't seen it working properly. So this is not something that I also like to do. But technically, it makes sense because you don't just mess the one campaign, and if the product is able to scale by just doing another campaign with bigger budget, it's going to accept it. On the other hand, you're not going to be left with nothing. At least one of the 2 campaigns, it's going to survive if the product is healthy and it's actually continue selling. The other way that I see a lot of people, especially on Twitter, ex-Twitter, now X, to do is the cost caps, okay? So a lot of times people say I'm going to scale with cost caps. I have videos with cost caps. I do use cost caps. I just don't use cost caps for scaling because they are not going to spend as much as you want. They're going to spend as much as they think that they should spend. Secondly, it's not something that you can budget. You cannot say, for example, with my cost caps, I'm going to spend this month 60K. The third thing is that most of the times we talk about small spends. It's not like they are scaling a lot. I haven't scaled a cost cap to 2K for a month now, okay? So they are scaling up to 300, 400 per ad set and stuff, but sometimes they are losing, they are just going immediately down. Okay, you're not losing money if you do it properly, but this is not an acceptable way of scaling because scaling means that you have to do it and you have to be consistent with your budget. For me, cost caps is just an extra thing, and I know that there are many people that they really like cost caps. In my opinion, they really like cost caps because they think that they can operate on Facebook with the rules of Google, okay? Which is crazy and stupid, and if they don't understand it, they have to go and they have to advertise on Google. But cost caps actually are there for you so that you can have an extra income from those, and you cannot just, they're extremely volatile also, and you cannot just count on them. It's just an extra thing on the ad account. I don't find this way efficient at all at scaling because you don't know how much they're going to spend. Now, one of the most known ways is the 20% rule. Basically, the 20% rule means that after your ads pass the learning phase, you can check my videos about the learning phase and all of that. After your ads pass the learning phase, what is going to happen is that in order for you not to get it back to the learning phase, what you can do is that you can actually increase by 20%. Some people do it every day, every 2 days, every 3 days. They watch the results and then they increase again. I have a complete video which is explaining why I don't like the 20%. Basically, the whole concept is this. When you do this consecutively, eventually you're going to make a mistake. And if you don't make a mistake, something else is going to happen, like a bad day on Facebook, or we might have the situation of having high CPMs that day, which is again a bad day. So it's either going to be a mistake from you or from Meta that's going to be a bad day. Is it going to be another situation that you're going to make a mistake because you were greedy? All of these are possible scenarios, but eventually you're going to make a mistake. And then when the mistake is happening, what is the outcome? You have nothing. Sometimes when you lower the budget, you are able to save the campaign, but most of the time when you scale too much, there is no turning back, and most probably you're going to lose your whole campaign and you have to start all over again. So this is not a sustainable way. I have seen ad accounts scaling with the 20%, but scaling for 1 or 2 months and then collapsing basically, okay? Because it's inevitable. Eventually you're going to make a mistake, or Facebook is going to make your life difficult with something. It doesn't matter. Eventually, this is not something that you can keep for 1 year. You cannot keep scaling for 1 year with the 20%. This is more of a strategy for dropshippers or people that they just want to scale super fast without caring about the outcome later in the months, because they just want to sell as fast as they want. So if you want to scale really fast, the 20% rule is something that you can actually use. I have seen it working. I have done it. And sometimes in some cases, I'm even doing much bigger jumps if I have to, because for example, there is a sale for 2-3 days. Like huge bumps, like going from 5K to 10K per day, because I know that the offer is very good and people are going to buy if they see the ad, or if I have limited time to show to people, and so on. All of these things are acceptable as long as you understand that this is not a long-term strategy. So the 20%, it's fine, it's working, but eventually the account is going to collapse. And if you do it for long term, most probably this is not the most sustainable way. Now, one of the ways that I'm using a lot of times, but it doesn't mean that it's working necessarily always, is that when I'm having something which is working, for example, let's say that I'm doing a CBO and I have 4 assets, and one of the assets inside has an interest which is working very well. It has very good volume, very good ROAS. Everything is perfect, not just good ROAS, but also volume. It has a lot of sales. Then I take this and I move it to the crazy method. If you don't know what's the crazy method, this is already a very long video. We're not going to analyze what's the crazy method. There are videos on the channel that we're showing the crazy method. Basically over there, what you're doing is you are just exploiting one of the assets that is actually doing well, and you try to find more hot pockets in the same potential reach, because with this one asset you were not going to be able to actually target all the people that they would buy. So the possibilities are that your first crazy method is going to be fine. If you keep doing that, most probably then you're going to have a problem and you're going to start seeing decreasing ROAS. So this is not a super sustainable way of scaling, but it's only a one-time thing. If you see something working once and you don't feel like you're exploiting full, instead of increasing by 20%, you take it to a crazy method in a new CBO campaign, and then you are able to scale it a little bit more. But this is not something that you can do in order for you to scale, for example, and do another campaign, another campaign, another campaign, because a lot of times people are abusing this method. The whole point over here is to just take a little bit more money instead of just taking only the money from your successful asset. Last but not least, the time that we all have been waiting. If you're watching all of my videos, you have not been waiting because you know already the answer. I have case studies, by the way, that they're proving this, and I'm doing this with brands that they want to scale, but it's taking time. What is this? Scaling with multiple campaigns. Basically, the concept here is this. I'm finding one structure that is working. For example, I'm doing 10 ads in an Advanced Plus, and then I'm just scaling with more creatives. What is the concept over here? The concept over here is that if, for example, I'm selling a t-shirt, and I'm selling a t-shirt by showing in one video that this is a t-shirt that it's for fat people so that they can be able to wear them without showing their belly, then I'm addressing to niche A, which is a sub-niche of my main niche, which is people buying t-shirts. Then if I sell a t-shirt with a video that I'm showing a very beautiful guy next to a beautiful lady, then I'm selling the t-shirt for the lifestyle. Okay, and then if I'm selling a t-shirt and I'm just focusing on my stamp, for example, or for the brand and stuff, then I'm selling a t-shirt focusing on that. Person A, B, and C are going to be convinced from a different video, and that means that you're going to be able to scale more and more and more by just selling the same product, by showing different usages of the product. Don't forget that people are lazy. People need to see by you how they can use the product that you're trying to advertise to them. Remember, they didn't know you 5 seconds ago when they were scrolling on their mobile phone. Yes, Facebook is the platform that is convincing people to buy before they even know that they wanted the product. So it's up to you to convince more people by just showing different angles of your product. A mistake that a lot of times people do is that they go and they just create the same creative, but they just rearrange the clips, they change the music and stuff, and then they think that they have different creatives. No, these are the same creatives. I'm talking about scaling with campaigns and the structure which is working on that account, but this time using different styles of videos, showing different usages of your products so that you can convince more people that they wouldn't buy with video A, but they will buy with video B. All of this comes from the daily loop theory, and I strongly encourage you to go and watch also this video, because this is going to help you understand why you cannot just keep scaling with one product and one creative which is actually successful. So the other thing that you can do in order for you to scale more is to do more campaigns with more products, more campaigns with more countries, and then the credibility. Basically, the credibility comes with you having campaigns maybe for a very long period, which they have a lot of engagement. So now instead of selling this, you are selling a little bit more because you have credibility. And the last step, which is being used, so all of these steps is to reach to 500,000 spent, to 1 million spent, to 800K. And if you want to go to 2.5 million in these other accounts, the only thing that I have seen that is helping you to go is to do all the previews. Keep your engagement, but this time start using a lot of different Instagram ad accounts. Use Instagram ad accounts as sponsored ads from a lot of influencers. Try to advertise from different Instagram accounts, and then you're going to be able to reach, I hope some of you are going to. I haven't reached many ad accounts. Maybe I have reached 5 ad accounts to these levels. I'm not, I think I did some videos with one of them recently, but I just don't show them because I find it's unrealistic to show this kind of ad accounts. But we did create 2 videos recently with one of them. One of them was about the frequency. I wanted to prove that whoever is saying that 2 or 3 frequencies is too much, maybe they haven't worked on big ad accounts. These big ad accounts, which are not a lot, just so you know, there are several accounts that they can scale to 500K, 800K, but ad accounts that they're on 2 or 3 million per month. There are ad accounts that they are utilizing all the things that I told you before, but also a lot of different Instagram accounts from influencers. So I didn't expect this video to be that long, but I guess I had so many things to say about the different ways of scaling. I hope that it's going to help you and you're going to understand more how the game is being played. For all the things that we discussed here, we have different videos and stuff. I hope that my video editor is going to add them. The case studies, the daily loop, all of these different things. I hope they're going to, the ChatGPT thing with the 20% rule, all of these things, I hope they're going to be added. And don't forget, guys, that if you want to learn more, you can check my book, my course, my website, my mentorship programs. Below my mentorship programs, you're going to find the reviews of the people that they have finished the mentorship programs. And until we meet again, be creative and be consistent.